Welcome to the Darkstream, Vox Day, voxday.net, and unauthorized.tv. So this is just going to be basically a Friday night hang. I am going to bestow the probably unwanted privilege of later introducing the first original organic song that we can put out under the Booster Patrol name. So I strongly suspect that you'll see why I prefer working with AI rather than singing. But you know, I think I promised the backers that I would do something, and so the Soul Sigma backers, and so this is not the final Soul Sigma song. This is the Booster Patrol mix. The difference is that we're going to see what the pro audio engineer can do with the stuff that we give him, and see what kind of difference it makes. You know, maybe he can work miracles. We'll see. By the way, don't think that I'm denigrating the performance. John Bradley's work is excellent. I'm criticizing myself here, so. But that's neither here nor there. I'm in a fantastic mood tonight. You know, I'm a big advocate of team sports. I think it's very, very helpful and important for male psychological development. And I've personally found it to be incredibly significant in my own life. And tonight was just an unexpected pleasure. We were facing the best team in the league tonight, the Albanian team, who are very good. I don't know if you watched the World Cup, but the Albanians absolutely overperformed. They were like the most entertaining team in the tournament. They just play like rabid lions the entire time. And I swear they're all like that. I actually know the local Albanian team pretty well, because before they had their own team, about 7 of their players used to play at my club. In fact, my all-time favorite strike partner is the guy who's now the Albanian veterans coach, and just such a smart player. Yeah, he wasn't in the greatest shape. He wasn't fast. He didn't have a particularly great shot, but he was just so soccer smart. You know, he had a very high football IQ, and it was just such a pleasure to play with him. And I've always enjoyed playing these guys. You know, when they first formed their team, we were better than they were. You know, we had recently been the league champions, and then they just brought in these guys, and they just started destroying everybody, including us. And but you know, we always played them tough, because of course we knew them, and so I think we were the only team. We beat them twice. We were the only team to like beat them for several years. And then a Portuguese group put together a really good team and actually managed to sneak a title one year. But now they're back. The Albanians are back to their dominance. And so they were undefeated this year. And then they show up tonight, and we're thinking, man, we've got no chance, because our best player's on vacation. And so we're like, this could be ugly. But you know, I noticed they come to our place. We say hello to our friends from their team and stuff, and I noticed that like four of their best players are missing, and I'm like, well, where's this guy? Where's this guy? And well, it's one guy's birthday, so he's celebrating it with his family. Um, Another guy actually showed up, and it was funny because I had just seen him like 5 days ago at the post office, and we were talking about our upcoming game against each other. And he shows up. He's got a broken arm. He broke his arm in the last game, so so he wasn't playing. And then the other two really good guys, are brothers, and their family had something too. So, but they're still definitely the favorites. They've still got some really good players. Um, but it's kind of funny because we get going, and we're just kind of hanging pretty even with them. And then in about the 10th or 12th minute, um, a guy, I noticed that their defender, the guy they had playing defense, couldn't run with me. And they'd put their oldest player on the wing against me. And he's still pretty fast for his age, but he's in his late 40s, I think. And my attitude is that if anybody's within 10 years of me, I can take them. So I'm not too worried about him. Plus, I've got a good defender behind me. And um, we just, I didn't have to stay back and protect the defender. And so I start kind of moving up when we're on the attack. And then, anyhow, our defender hit a nice long pass past their defense. I ran onto it, sent it across, and it was a perfect cross over the goalie and to one of our strikers who just chested it and then put it in. 1-0. We're looking pretty good. Um, and we went into halftime at 1-0. And then I got substituted out, which was a little frustrating. I did not want to come out. And I definitely wanted to go back in. But anyhow, just we had two guys. We were basically practically playing 9 versus 11 because we had two players who I swear they never played soccer when they were young. They're just terrible, like unable to do more than make a 5-meter pass, and sometimes not even that. But in this kind of crazy stroke of events, the one guy who was in my position, and just the ball falls to him, and he just gives it to he doesn't know, he should have pushed it forward and then either shot or crossed, but of course he didn't know to do that. So instead he just passes it to the nearest striker, um, who is in no position to do anything, but he passes it to the striker who had come in, who's this Italian guy who also, he was the other weak player, you know. But the guy actually manages to do the right thing and push it out to the left wing, who then brings it in, sends a nice cross, a nice hard cross across, and the good striker, the captain, puts it right in. Suddenly we're winning 2-zip in the second half. We're like, wait, what's going on? Now, this is the one thing about Albanians, is that they're basically like hot-tempered Italians. So, I mean, they're even more temperamental. And so they just start, bitching at each other and arguing with the ref and committing dumb fouls. They're getting mad. They did claw one goal back with about 15 minutes left. And this is when I'm going practically berserk. Like, like I'm practically begging the captain to put me back in. And he's just like, no, it's under control. Um, and then our left, we get a couple good chances, but their goalie does well to keep him out. And then there's a long ball, and our left wing just, he was exhausted too. He was exhausted and a little bit injured. And I knew it because he just stopped. Like, he's usually very active and very aggressive. And he just stopped. and looked up, and he saw the goalie was pretty far out. So he just lobs the ball from like 25 meters into the net. And we all just started laughing because we knew the main reason he did that was because he was just too tired. He was like too tired to try to beat the defender and deal with this, and he'd had the goalie block him a couple times, so he was just like, "Oh, screw it," puts it in from there. But the funniest thing was, so now they're just falling apart. It's 3-1. There's only like 5 minutes left, and they're playing super high. They're really pushing forward, trying to score, and the funniest thing is the Italian guy who, like I said, doesn't play much. He's a referee, so he knows the game. His positioning was actually pretty good, but he just never did anything useful. And when the ball would come to him, and it was kind of hilarious because our wings pushing the ball up, their defense is super high past the midfield line, and so our left wing looks up, realizes how high the defense is, and he just puts the ball on the ground, nice long through ball. And the Italian guy is already like 5 meters ahead of the defenders, but he's on our side of the field. It's not offsides. And so he runs on, and their whole defense is just screaming offsides, offsides, and all this stuff. And it confuses and kind of frightens the guy, because the goalie doesn't even come out to try to play him. The goalie like comes out and is yelling at the referee. and the guy actually stops with the ball like around the box. And personally, and I did suggest this to my team afterwards, I think I deserve an assist even though I was not on the field, because I just start screaming at the guy in French and Italian, shoot the ball, put the ball in the goal, don't stop, shoot the ball. So he kind of looks over, and realizes I'm screaming at him, and then just kicks the ball in the empty net. And the referee points to the center, it's a goal. And of course the other team, the Albanians, are going completely berserk. And I had to go to the coach, who's a longtime friend of mine. I just said, dude, that was legitimate. He's like, he wasn't off? I said, no, he was on our side of the field. He's like, oh, yeah, okay. So he's trying to calm his team down, and the time runs out, we win. And it was kind of funny because one of the great things about our league is that the teams have dinner together afterwards. And they're at our place, so, we're having dinner and everything's sociable and everybody's friendly. They're a little bit irritated because they were undefeated and then they just lost to us, and they're kind of blaming the referee, and they're kind of blaming the fact that they don't have all their guys, and it's the latter is legitimate, the former was not. But it was kind of funny because after they leave, and we're all being good sports, and we're not arguing with them about anything and whatever, and fortunately, because there were such good connections between the team. I mean, it's the kind of game that could have become problematic. There were a couple yellows and there was one red, and probably should have been two, but the teams didn't get into it at all because so many of the guys knew each other and had played together in the past. Anyhow, as soon as they leave, our captain stands up, and there's this song in the French-speaking world that the younger football teams tend to sing. They sing it. They get in a circle, and they all have their arms around each other's shoulders, and then they spin in a circle and kind of jump up and down and sing this song. And we never do that. I mean, I don't know how long I've played with this team. In the whatever it's been, 14 years that I've played with them, we've never ever sung the song. Anyhow, the captain stands up and promptly leads us in 4 stanzas of the song, and the guys are just, super enthusiastic. And yes, the alcohol was flowing, as you can probably imagine. But it was just so funny because it was like the captain was just waiting for the moment that they're gone, because it wouldn't be polite to do that in front of them. The younger guys, they always do it in the field right after the game. But I was thinking, this is the sort of thing that far too many young men are missing. That sense of camaraderie, that sense of we play together, we win together, we lose together, but we always do it together. And it's not like we're all best friends, you know? I mean, a lot of us are not even what I would actually consider friends. We're friendly acquaintances. And yet, so much about the other people, the other guys. You know who's selfish, you know who's selfless, you know, who's perfectly willing to slaughter somebody else for no reason, even in practice. The guy who got the red card for us was, of course, the same guy who completely bulldozed me in practice twice last week. He's an equal opportunity bulldozer, and totally unrepentant about it. But it's just such a great feeling. It's such a great experience. I was telling one of the guys that I'm friends with, I said, this is why I just won't stop. I'm not going to stop until I can't contribute positively anymore. When I become a liability, then I'll stop. And it was kind of funny because the defender next to me goes, "What the hell are you talking about? You got us into the game in the first place." He's like, "We need you to play 10 more years." I was like, "I'll play, if I can play 10 more years, I will play 10 more years." And, and if that means that I have to eat strange foods and lift weights incessantly and all that sort of thing, then I'll do it because it's worth it. And it's just something that I highly, highly recommend to men of any age. If you're older, there's still things like walking football. If you're younger, there's the baseball, the volleyball, the basketball. It doesn't matter what the sport is. There's just something about that collective effort that and the finding a place in the hierarchy of the team that I think is really valuable to a man. For me, it's been incredibly valuable just because I don't do well with hierarchies. And it's been an opportunity, once I understood the whole SSH, it's been an opportunity for me to learn what you need to do to fulfill a delta situational role. I think it would be particularly good for gammas who are trying to escape that behavioral pattern. That's what I'd recommend. In other news, people are a lot less intelligent than you thought. I don't know if you saw on the blog today, but there's a study, and they were studying people that are in the top 20% of literacy. People that scored a 5 in literacy. And what was shocking was that 58% of them were totally unable to follow the sentences in a Dickens novel. 58%. And another 20% or so, maybe it was 17, 18, were fundamentally unable to distinguish metaphor from the literal. Think about what that implies. These are the most literate people, and as much as about 80% of them can't distinguish the difference between something that's literal and metaphor. And we've seen this. We see people do this, but I don't think that we realize or recognize how absolutely common it is. And so I mentioned it on, I was actually citing it on Sigma Game. It's particularly important when you're talking about women, because I would estimate that about 2% of women can properly distinguish between the literal and the figurative. I think the vast majority of women, about 90% of women, communicate in a figurative manner. So, you know, good luck. Good luck trying to be, trying to utilize metaphor. You know, it's challenging. I mean, you know, I mean, given that I'm the one who coined the term "most people are idiots," this is not a surprise to me. The extent, or really the how low it goes, does tend to surprise me, especially the fact that, you know, this has actually been studied as seriously as you can study something social. It's been quantified to a pretty high level, and you know, the ramifications are significant. Let's just say that we make sure that the books are pretty. Anyhow, that's it for the chatter. Let me introduce you to our first original here. And it is going to be a Sol Sigma release, this to the backers. But this is the Booster Patrol mix, mixed by the great John Bradley himself. And this is a song I wrote about 3 months ago. It's called Girls Love Guitars. And you know, one of the reasons I wanted to do it was because you know, people, the sort of people who are instinctively and reactively negative about AI, I get a little tired of the whole, like, well, you're not a real musician. You know, you're not really doing music. You're just typing in text prompts, that kind of thing. So it's like, you know what? Fine. I'll go ahead and prove that I can do it. That being said, the fact that you can do it doesn't mean that the end result is necessarily going to be the way that you want it to be in your head. So, anyhow, but I will say that that John did a very good job on the guitar, and so I hope that you'll at least enjoy that. This is Booster Patrol and Girls Love Guitars. I'll put this up in the Booster Patrol section later. So anyhow, go ahead and let me know what you think of it after we've fired up. I should need to turn on the externals, and apologies in advance.
And call me when you get in, and I might show you around. I was only leaving word to see who gets to you first. Well, I guess it could be worse. Heard about the legends, read about the scars. Really makes you think sometimes. Heard about the legends, read about the scars. Turns out the girls love guitars. Gets a little crazy looking down from the stage, and maybe it's just a little hazy when you won't tell me your age. Pretty on the outside, poison on the inside. I don't think there's a cure. Oh, bitchy on the outside, beauty on the inside. I guess it could be worse. Heard about the psychos, Read about the scars, really makes you think sometimes. Heard about the tattoos crushing all the cars. Turns out the girls love guitars. Gets a little crazy looking down from the stage. And maybe it's just a little hazy when I can't tell your age. Honey on the outside, sugar on the inside. Tell me you're not still in school. I was only leaving just to make sure I got there first. Well, I guess it could be worse. Heard about the cougars smoking their cigars. Really makes you think sometimes. Stay away from psychos hanging around the bars. Turns out the girls love guitars. Gets a little crazy looking down from the stage. And maybe it's just a little hazy when I should turn the page. Once we thought that we were rock stars. Turns out the girls just love guitars.
So that was Girls Love Guitars, a Soul Sigma / Booster Patrol original. And that's why I prefer to use AI vocals rather than my own. But we are gonna have a professional mix and master done of that for the Soul Sigma backers only. And then Soul Sigma will release the AI version of that eventually. But that's not going to be the next or even the next after the next release. In fact, I'm going to go ahead, since it's unauthorized, and since unauthorized always comes first when it comes to this kind of stuff. This is the finished final version, fully mastered, ready to go out on Spotify and iTunes. This is the Fly Your Freak Flag mix of Cosmic Trigger. And this will be a Vibe Patrol release, as you will no doubt understand in a moment. And it's a complete remake, completely different music, totally different third verse, lightly modified verses from a original 1992 Psychosonic original. And this has, it was a song that was written when Psychosonic was just me and Paul, and this has this has Paul's full blessing. So this is Cosmic Trigger.
Face, tell me, do you see the sun? There's a lemon drop about to fall and it's scaring everyone. Don't come inside, cause Cinderella's can't decide. Try the red spot on the forehead, vintage mind way suicide. Pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. You've got to pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. Put your hands over your eyes, tell me, can you hear the sun? There's a shadow on the umbra, now it's hunting everyone. Don't say her name, you know that Eris is the one to blame. Yeah, search the cosmos for the chaos, primal brainwave, ultra flame. Pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. You've got to pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. Blow a kiss to deepest space, now there's nowhere left to run. Kundalini's moving to the base, burning like a sun. Don't run away, you can fly your freak flag high today. Yeah, Cinderella's seeking vengeance, and she'll be back on Saturday. Pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. You've got to pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. Cinderella's coming back, and I think she might be gay. Her eyes are black, she's out of whack. She's coming back on Saturday. Pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. You've got to pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. Pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. Yeah. Just pull, 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 I'm the cosmic trigger. Cosmic.
So that is probably the only song that you'll ever hear that is inspired by Robert Anton Wilson and the Cinderellas of Tokyo Disneyland, but there it is. Anyhow, that'll probably come out early next week, but it'll be up on Unauthorized here later tonight. So hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for tuning in, and I will look forward to seeing you on Monday when I will be streaming with Big Bear as we now do. So have a good evening. I'm Vox Day. This is the Darkstream.